Hello everyone, today we look at my new Other Brands palette. We will have here colors from Shinhan, Winsor & Newton, Rembrandt, Van Gogh, Holbein, and Beat from Daniel Smith, and also my own convenience mixes. First color will be Titanium White from Rembrandt PW6. Next will be Interference Blue from Rembrandt, and I love this Interference Blue. It's really beautiful with Rembrandt Spinel Gray, which we'll see later on in this video. Together they create some kind of electric blue. Next is Daniel Smith Interference Gold, a great color with mixed with yellow ochres. It creates beautiful gold colors with these colors. Next is Daniel Smith Buff Titanium PW6 Column 1, a color that I use a lot, both for mixing and both on its own. Next, I think it's Azo Yellow Medium from Rembrandt PY154, a nice mixing yellow, mid-tone yellow, but it's quite bright and it could act as a cool yellow. Next is Azo Yellow Deep, from Rembrandt PY110, again a good mixing color, especially for saps greens with PG7 Phthalo Green blue shade. Next is Shinhan June Brilliant. I don't remember which of them. It's quite opaque, but it's beautiful. Next is Shinhan June Brilliant. Again, I don't remember which number. I'm sorry. A beautiful apricot color. Next is a red Naples yellow from Van Gogh. Again, beautiful apricot color, and it's a bit granulating, and it's more it's less opaque than the June Brilliant from Shinhan. Now we'll see my own convenience mix of PO71, I think, a bit of PR168, and some Titanium White PW6. Next is Shinhan Shell Pink, a beautiful nice pink. Next is Winsor & Newton Potter's Pink PR233, and it was a color that I didn't like at the beginning. It was too bubblegummy for me, but now I look at it and I see it as a dusky pink, dusky vintagey pink with lots of granulation. It's very soft, and yeah, I quite like it. It's a good mixing color. Next is Van Gogh. I don't remember the name, but it is a PR149, a Perlin Scarlet pigment. Beautiful color. It has some color shift after it dries, but still it's a very beautiful color. Next is Van Gogh PR264. I don't remember the name, but it's a pyrrole crimson color. Great mixing color. It also has a drying shift. but still very beautiful color. Next is Quinacridone Rose Magenta from Rembrandt, and it's the cleanest magenta that I ever saw, and I love it. It's a great color on its own and as a mixing color. Next is a mix of my own with PR 122 Potter's Pink from Winsor & Newton and Cobalt Violet PV14 from Rembrandt that we'll see in a minute. And yeah, I like it, it's granulating. I wanted to create a granulating magenta. Next is the Cobalt Violet from Rembrandt PV14. Really nice color. It's quite pigmented for cobalt violets, and also it's very granulating. Next is Rembrandt Permanent Quinacridone. I think it's called Quinacridone Red Violet. It's PV19. It's between Quinacridone Magenta to Quinacridone Violet in Hue. It's a very nice color, very good for mixing with earthstones. Next is Quinacridone Purple PV55 from Daniel Smith. I just love this color and I wanted to put it in this palette. Now is Carbazole Violet PV23, again from Daniel Smith, a good mixing color that I wanted in this palette. Next is Ultramarine Deep from Van Gogh PB29. It's very close in hue to Smalt Blue from Winsor & Newton. It's less granulating, but much more cheaper in price. And it's very beautiful color. Really love it. Next is Indanthrone Blue PB60 from Rembrandt. It's a nice Indanthrone blue, and it's less grayish from Daniel Smith Indanthrone blue. Next is Shinhan's Indigo. It's made from a synthetic indigo PB66. It's not light fast, but it is very beautiful indigo. Or as much as I know, it's not light fast. Next is Sapphire Blue, again from Shinhan with PB66 and PB15 column 6. A beautiful reddish blue. Great for night scenes. Next is Shinhan's Prussian Blue PB27, a beautiful soft Prussian blue. Really love it. Next is the next two colors are my own mixes. The inspiration is from Sarah Burns, and I put in both of them Amazona Genuine, Amethyst Genuine, Manganese Blue Hue, and in this one also Ultramarine Blue, and Buff Titanium in both of them. And the other one is without Ultramarine Blue. And I wanted some dust blues for dusk or for twilight hour. Next is Rembrandt Cerulean Blue Red Shade PB35, a great pigmented cerulean blue, very granulating but not as much granulating as the Daniel Smith, so it could be good for mixing. Next is Daniel Smith Phthalo Blue Green Shade, an important mixing color for me. and you will see in my convenience mixes it stars quite a lot. Next is my own convenience mix of PG50, PB15 column 3, PB15 column 6, and PBK 11, and I love it. Next is another mix of mine, and I think it was Daniel Smith Paints Gray with Jasper Genuine, and the one after that is the same mix but also with Venetian Red and a bit of Phthalo Blue. Phthalo Blue green shade, of course. Next two mixes are with PB36 Daniel Smith Cobalt Turquoise, and I think it was with the Bloodstone Genuine from Daniel Smith, and one is darker and one is more granulating, and they're a good dupe for Blue Apatite Genuine, and I think I will like to use them a lot in this palette for Moody Skies and other things also, muted greens and so on. Next is Rembrandt Cobalt Turquoise, I think. It is made from PG26. It's low tinting strength than other PG26 that I saw, and it's less granulating, but still it will be beautiful with yellow ochre, with Zometsine yellow, with gold ochre. I think I will like it in mixes. Next is Daniel Smith Phthalo Green Blue Shade PG7, an important mixing color. And I think I could try to mix really beautiful neutral tint with Quinacridone Purple with this one. Next is a mix that I made myself with, I think it was Phthalo Blue Green shade, Lunar Black, and Chrome Titanate Yellow PBR24 from Daniel Smith. Then is my Diopside U or dupe with PG36 PR102, which was fired gold ochre and a bit of hematite violet. Next is Rembrandt Green Earth PG23. It's a very soft and low tinting green earth, but still I really love it, even though it's so low tinting. Next are colors that I made in the Van Gogh 12 muted colors set. The first one is olive green, and I love it since then. Very beautiful muted warm green. Next is Van Gogh Zometsine Yellow PY129, and it is one of the most beautiful green golds that I know. Very luminous, very clean. I love it a lot. And then is Van Gogh Yellow Ochre that I know from before, from the set of 12+3 of the mixing set. It was my first watercolor set, and it's quite opaque, but it's the first yellow ochre that I fell in love with, and I love it. It creates beautiful greens. Next is Rembrandt gold ochre, A nice granulating beautiful kind of yellow ochre or rose sienna. I think it's PY 43, but I'm not sure. And it's very beautiful, a kind of yellow ochre color or rose sienna color. Next is Winsor & Newton, I think it's called Light Red, it's PR102. And it's a beautiful kind of Venetian red color. It's actually more orangish than Venetian red, and I love it. It's a beautiful color. It goes through a small color shift, but after it dries, but it stays very beautiful. Next is Van Gogh Burnt Sienna PR101. A few years ago, Van Gogh changed the earth tones, most of them, to one pigment colors, and this one, the one is the PR101. And I love it, it's beautiful. It reminds me Burnt Sienna Light from Daniel Smith. And it's way cheaper. It's not the same color, but in a way it reminds me it. Next is Van Gogh Light Oxide Red. It's kind of Venetian red color. It's quite granulating. It's very opaque and very beautiful, and I love it. It's PR101. Next, I think, is Mars Orange PR101 from Core. I heard that it may be discontinued. I hope it's just a rumor and that it's not true, because I wanted to make it a dupe for Quinacridone Burnt Orange PO48, but now I cannot. And I love this color, it's beautiful. And it's a bit granulating. Next is Shinhan Red Brown PBR25. It's a granulating color, which I like, and it's a beautiful reddish brown. Next is my own mix with PO48, PBR11, PR175, and PR101 transparent brown oxide, and I love it. It's very granulating. Next is my own mix with Venetian red and Phthalo blue green shade, and of course I love this kind of brownish gray. Now we'll move to the next palette. So the first color will be another mix of Venetian red with Phthalo blue green shade, and I put way too much water because you see it was quite opaque at the beginning, but still it's a very nice gray, brownish gray. The colors that inspired this mix was magnesium brown from Roman Small, which I don't have, but I wanted to create this kind of brown. Next is Rembrandt Greenish Amber PBR8, and I love it. Next is Holbein Amber, which is a dark raw amber color, PBR7. Nice color. It's less strong tinting than I thought, but still it's very beautiful. Next is Rembrandt, I think it's called Oxide Burnt Amber, but I'm not sure. It's 3 pigment mix. I don't remember the pigments. but I love it. It's really, really beautiful. It's quite dark also. Next is Van Gogh Sepia, another color that I fell in love with from the muted colors palette of Van Gogh. It is made from PBR7 and PBK6. Beautiful sepia. I think it's one of the sepias that I love the most. It's quite a strong sepia. Then is Schminka sepia reddish shade. I think it's also with PR242, a black, maybe PBK9, and I think PBR7 if I'm not wrong, and I could be wrong here. Then is Core Ardoise Gray PBK19. It's a warm gray, it's granulating, and it's very low tinting strength, very low tinting, but it's quite nice, and I can use it both in urban sketching and in nature landscapes. Next is a color that I love a lot. I fell in love with it again in the muted colors palette from Van Gogh. It's Davies Gray of Van Gogh. It's from PBK11, PG7 and PBR7, and it's very granulating muted gray, greenish gray. Very beautiful. Next is Oxide Black from Van Gogh, PBK11. I wanted a color that is warmer than Lunar Black from Daniel Smith, and because I wanted it to be more like closer to Bloodstone Genuine but cheaper in price. Next is Spinel Gray from Rembrandt, PBK26. I think also maybe Memory Blue has this pigment as a gray, I'm not sure, and it's really nice, mid-tone gray. Next is Graphite. It's a pearlescent warm gray, and it's beautiful. I love it. Next is a color that I don't know if it's a mix that I created or it's something that I bought. I don't have it written. I think it's with PB15 column 6, maybe PBK6, and I don't know another color, I don't know which. And PB20, PW20, I'm sorry. Next is Holbein's Davies Gray, a beautiful greenish gray, and I love it. Next is my own mix with Gray Titanium, PB35 and PG50. And it's quite a granulating, interesting kind of slate gray. And last but not least is Holbein's Gray of Gray. It reminds me of Misty Blue from Holbein Acrylic Gouache, and I didn't check if it's with the same pigments, but it's a very beautiful soft gray. I really love this cool gray. So these are the colors. We'll see them now when they are dried. Okay, so this is the first palette and I love it, beautiful colors. And the second palette, beautiful muted colors in the second palette. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you like my palettes. Have a wonderful time and happy painting. Thank you.